Hi everyone, thanks for joining me at Stampin' Storytellers. Today I have a card using the Special Someone stamp set. This stamp set is in our Spring Mini Catalog and part of our coordination product release that started the beginning of February. We have some extra products that aren't in any publication. They're only available online while supplies last or until March 31st. So there's a few sets of dies, the Nature's Thoughts dies, the Ladybug dies that match our host set, Sending Flowers dies, and birthday dies that match a celebration stamp set, as well as this Pleased as Punch designer series paper that coordinates with a few of our punches. The set that we're using today are the Special Day dies. So they coordinate with this Special Someone stamp set with these really cute little critters. When I first saw it, I thought it was cute, but I wasn't going to get it until I saw the dies, and then it was a must-have. So there are so many dies in here. There's a grass piece. There's dies for each of the critters and some balloon strings. There's a single balloon string and one that cuts 3, some bows, different balloons. You get 2 of each balloon, so that makes it really easy to cut multiples, and then a little speech bubble and some flowers. So today we're going to use the raccoon and the squirrel. And I'm also using a die from the So Sentimental bundle. I'm using the second largest stitched scalloped rectangle. So to get started, I'll start with our scrap and we will stamp all of our critters first. So we'll start with basic black for the detailed image of our raccoon. So I'll stamp that. And I find the detailed image is easier to stamp first, and then it's easy to fill it in with our next color. And then while I have the black out, I'm going to do, I think I got that stamp out, the balloon string. And to make sure, because it's kind of a weird shape, instead of sticking it on the block, I like to put it on my work surface first and then pick it up, because we want the die to match and line up. So now I have the balloon strand there. Then in, I don't need that color, basic gray, I'll fill in the raccoon. Just like that. Makes it really pop when you fill his color in. Then in basic gray, we will do the outline of our balloon. And in petal pink, we'll fill it in. This is called 2-step stamping. You don't necessarily need to do 2-step stamping for all of it. If you just wanted to, you could color that in. I didn't quite get it lined up, but it's okay. You could color that image in, or you could just stamp the solid image. Then we'll need our squirrel image. Let's see. I'll stamp our sentiments too. So these are, I'm just going to cut out. We're going to fussy cut each word out. So there's our, this balloon, this is upside down, but this balloon is special. It's filled with helium. That was kind of cute. Then we'll do the squirrel in early espresso for the detailed image. And we'll fill it in crumb cake. There we go. And I guess I needed my gray one more time to do one of the little flower images. And we'll fill that in with Flirty Flamingo stamped off. So I'm just going to stamp it off here. And then I'll fill, oh, that's not this way maybe. There we go. Just to make it a lighter shade of pink. And I think that's all the die cutting we need. So now when we're using our dies, they're pretty finicky little pieces. So I'll show you quick. Here's the die for that little flower. So when you line it up, you'll be able to see where the flower is, but you can't see the stem. So you'll need to move the die until you can see through that little hole at the bottom where your inked image is. And then I find the best way, even if you have your magnetic plate, the best way to hold it in place is to use a sticky note, just to make sure that it doesn't move. So then you can do all of your dies at once. If you space them out, you should be able to. So then Post-it note that one down, and this one, you can put that one on, and then you could do all of them all at once. The only thing that we're going to fussy cut out is the little words. So I'll just trim that pretty close. This is something Stampin' Up! Does a lot of the time in their examples for us, and I don't usually do it because it's fussy. But in this case, I liked how it looked. So then we're just going to cut in between each word. And there's obviously adhesive stuck on my scissors. So there's the 4 from that one. We'll keep those tiny little pieces. Then I'll trim this one. If you didn't want to fussy cut all these out, you could, these fit perfectly in the classic label punch, or you could use the little speech bubble die that comes with this set, die set. Oops, and this is where the finicky part comes in. But when we're adhering them, we can just use our take your pick tool. So then you'll run all those through your die cut machine. And here they are, oops, all done. So I have, this guy's gonna hold our balloon. This guy will hold this flower. And here's the top of the balloon. So we'll put these little pieces, I try not to lose them. And we'll do some sponging. So this is, you get a piece of background paper. These blending brushes, I got mine on Amazon. Dina Rico in the United States uses these all the time, and I finally ordered myself some. I got mine on Amazon. They have gotten theirs at Walmart and Amazon, wherever you can find them. Some are even at the dollar store. The brand doesn't matter, but they're a little bit cheaper if you search for makeup brushes versus craft brushes. Anytime we add crafting to a title of something, then it becomes more expensive. So these are, I have 3 or 4 sizes. So this is the smallest one. It's about 1 inch by 1/2 inch. That's probably the smallest I would go. And the reason being is that it gives you more lines when you're rubbing it on your paper. So I just rub it on my ink pad, brush off a little bit. Petal pink is pretty light. And then go in circles. And you'll have to do it a few times just until you get the desired look you'd like. This is actually the card that my daughter was making in the little video I posted on Instagram and Facebook. So she sits and does these for me, and she's only 3.5, so it's a fun activity for her to do. One more. And I find you get a smoother image with these than you do with our yellow sponges. Then on the inside of our card, I have a layer that's 5 by 3 3/4. I'm going to do the same thing just at the bottom. Oh, okay, well this will be the top. I'll turn it around. the top, kind of like a little pink sky. There, and then at the bottom, I'll change brushes. I don't have a brush for every color. I have one for pinks, one for greens. This is a light green, but once the ink dries on them, then you could change them for whatever color you wanted. So this is soft seafoam, another light color, but just to give some interest to this piece of cardstock. And you can see the bigger the brush, the more subtle the blending lines are. That little brush is a little harsh in some spots. There, so then there's the green. And once I add that to a layer, it'll look more exciting. So I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm going to add my squirrel on the inside and using my liquid adhesive, stick that on there, and he's gonna hold this little flower. Just like that. And then we can get our take your pick tool out, and I'm going to put, let's see, a little dot for it's filled with helium. Now I can put my letters down. So I have it's, oops, with filled helium. And the point of it is that you don't have to put them on totally straight. A little extra adhesive on that little one. So this layer is then going to be glued onto a piece that's of petal pink. That's 4 1/4 by 5. And you'll see that once I add it to this petal pink layer, that soft seafoam really stands out and looks brighter than it did just on my background. So I'll set that aside. That's the inside layer. Then on the outside, I'm going to add my little raccoon on some dimensionals. And our balloon. And then on the top of this little strand, the balloon string, I'm just going to cut a tiny little edge piece of our dimensionals, because even a mini one, or you could cut a mini one in half, but it's still a little bit too wide. So I'll start with doing my raccoon down at the bottom here, and then I'll place, oops, put a little tiny bit of glue just where it's going to touch my raccoon. There. And then we can add our little balloon on top. There. Then I have a layer of basic gray that's 5 1/8 by 3 7/8, and we'll adhere a little raccoon guy to that piece. I've pre-embossed it with the Coastal Weave embossing folder that can be found in our spring mini catalog as well. Then we'll add that layer to another 5 1/4 by 4 piece of petal pink. There we go. And then a basic gray card base cut at 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. I'm gonna use my bone folder to make sure, because when I stand it up now it'll actually stand. If I hadn't used my bone folder, they just kind of flop open and they don't have that nice crease at the top. So I can adhere my card front and our inside layer, and then I'm going to do the sentiment words on the outside so that they have time to dry. So I'll add inside, and then I'll do the same thing. So put a little bit for this balloon is special, and get my take your pick tool. This balloon, this is going to be too much, is special. There we go. So it looks finicky, but it's not actually if you have the right little tools and don't get too crazy on your glue. So here's our card. That didn't take us that long. The longest part is probably going to be all the die cutting, but if you do it all at once, it won't take you too long. So there's our outside and our inside. And here's my example one. So now I have 2 to keep in my card stash. I hope you enjoyed my card today. If you'd like to purchase any of these products I've used, please head to my website, stampinstorytellers.blogspot.com, and there's a little button at the top left that you can shop with me right now. And if you use this host code, any order over $35 will receive a make and take packet in the mail. So you might get this one or one of my other videos for February. If you want to specify, just let me know after you place your order, and I'd be happy to send you the card that you'd like. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. Bye.